on this video, then I'm sure you're curious about how I got my winter makeup look. This has been my go-to, #1, easy to do. Honestly, I feel like it's moderate friendly, beginner friendly. I definitely think so. I try to keep things pretty simple. And I aim to use mostly drugstore products you could find in Ulta as well. I did have a few that are, I believe, Sephora exclusive, and I definitely can do like a drugstore only routine in the near future. I have different makeup looks I like to do, but this one right here has just been my winter date night special occasion. Like, I'm stepping out and I really want to look like a baby doll, you know, like I really want to look super glam and very filter-esque. This has been my #1 go-to, so I included the Blend Set Bake routine that I use, which helps me with my bright under eye, and all of that is included in this video. So yeah, so this is the first one with many more to come. I hope you enjoy. This is take 3 of my thorough, I'll just call this my wintertime date night routine for makeup. So yeah, this is take 3. Let's hope this one's a winner, fingers crossed. If you're seeing this, that means that it was. So anyways, I'm gonna hop straight into my brows. So there's 2 different things that I typically do in my brows. For one, I either use like just like a standard like brow gel. This one's NYX Control Freak. If I'm looking for them to be up and stuck, I'm gonna be honest with you, I use Got To Be, and I keep it like pretty close to me, like on hand, so I'm gonna be using Got To Be today. So basically with brows, I try to keep it pretty simple. I don't really fill in my brows that much. I mainly just like go into the areas that I know are more sparse and then focus more on the tail end. I don't focus a lot of product towards the center, just because for me, on my face and the way I like my makeup, I just don't think it's super flattering. I used to do it, let me actually do this as I'm talking, but I used to do it before, when that was like the thing, to like kind of like go through with your eyebrow pencil and like have like the spikes going up. If you know, you know. And I enjoyed it, you know, for when that time was, but honestly, when I was looking back on pictures of past like makeup and like makeup not mistakes, but makeup growing pains, my brows and doing that just is one of those things that like, it bothers me. Looking at the pictures, like I'm like, oh no. So now I try to make sure that I am being as natural as possible with my own brows. So as you see, I'm just like kind of just stroking them in the place I want for them to go. So I like for the center of my brows to kind of be spiked upwards towards the tail end. I like to do more of a smoothing backwards motion, and I'm just going in with a spoolie and doing that. Sorry, looking in the viewfinder, I need to get used to looking here. But yeah, so that's literally it for my brows, or at least for the brow gel part. So that part does kind of have to set, but I've realized if you let it set too long, they get a little too stuck. And for me, I like to be able to kind of like use that as the base, but I still want to mold it into the shape that I really like with the eyebrow pencil. So now I'm going to be following up with the NYX. This is a NYX Micro Brow Pencil in Espresso. I have a couple different brow pencils that I like, so I'm going to, for sake of like trying to be as beginner friendly as possible, I'm gonna try and stick to like you know, products you can find at like Ulta, drugstore, things like that, or places like that. There are some products, I'm not even gonna lie, my favorites, certain products are my favorites for this routine that are not drugstore friendly. So I'm gonna go ahead and continue on with brows, and I'm gonna be quiet because I'm probably gonna trim this part down. Alright, so right after brows, I like to go ahead and follow that up with, I use concealer. Like, honestly, I try to use, I don't really use my highlighter concealer under my brows. I like to use like a deeper color. So right now, I'm opening the NYX girl, I'm opening LA Girl Pro Concealer. It's an old-time favorite. I know there's a lot of different alternatives that you could use, but honestly for my brows, this is just my never fail. I also use it for my primer, for my eyeshadow words. But yeah, so basically what I do is I just go under just to tell, and I don't really like to do the whole brow. I don't find that it's necessary. I just like to focus on the end of the brow, and then I'm basically like just smoothing product under it, and this just more or less just like cleans it up and also adds just like a slight emphasis to the eyebrow in a way that's very pretty, especially for full face days, because again, this is my, I mean, this could definitely be an everyday routine. I just realistically, I'm being completely honest, I don't wear this much or use this many amount of products on a day-to-day basis. It's just not, no. I like minimal with maximum effect. That is my vibe. A bit quicker, because otherwise we'll be here all day. Place the product. So I'm just like applying a little pressure to the brush to make sure it picks up. And then when I go in with my, when I go in on the eye part, but when I go in with more primer for the Chateau, that is where, and again, I'm just picking up LA Girl again, and I'm gonna take it onto my eyelid now. So as you see, I already went further down, but I haven't quite gotten to like the base of my lid. So now I'm just gonna apply it directly to the base of my lid. Just like went in there with the cool, and this is in shade Cool Tan. I don't know if I already said that, but this is LA Girl Pro Concealer Cool Tan. It's still a favorite to pick up, and again, I'm trying to stick to things or to products that are drugstore friendly, just for those who are hoping to be able to see how to use the products that they have on hand, because even the oldies still work very well. So right now all I'm doing is I'm just further blending it out with my favorite concealer brush. Like, I act like I have no other brushes. I love this brush so much. It's the Morphe, I want to say mini buffer complexion brush or concealer brush, something like that. I'll write the complete name in the description bar so you can be able to find it. But this one right here is a favorite. And if you've seen any of my TikToks where I'm kind of like going through my makeup, this one is like constantly used. So yeah, so I'm just blending that out. And then so this is the Morphe M173. Trying to see if the camera will pick it up, so that's why I'm doing that little hand trick. Oop, about to drop it. So yeah, so that's it for the base part of it. No, I'm a lie. Okay, so next what you're gonna want to do is follow it up with some powder. Honestly, it doesn't matter a lot what powder brush that you use to pack it on, because essentially all that you're looking to do is like follow the concealer with, like, you have to set it. If you don't want creasing on your eyelids, if you find that when you're doing your shadow looks, like you're getting a ton of creasing, a ton of like product just kind of like melting into each other and not really looking like anything after you're done, it's probably because you have not set your eyeshadow primer. So please do that. So what I'm doing is I'm using the Laura Mercier Translucent Honey, and I'm gonna just put enough on this brush. So this is a Real Techniques buffing brush. So it's a short little stubby brush, and I love it for going over more compact product needs. So you don't need a lot, that's why I'm shaking some of it off, but there's enough to cover. And then I'm just gonna go in and go like this. All right, and so I'm just patting it in. Right, see? NK, sorry, I was reading through the viewfinder because I can't remember the name, but it's Morphe NK Khaki Calling palette, and I'm gonna go in and use this shade on my crease, and literally that's it. That's gonna be my shadow. This one is from Elaina Badro. I think I got this one from an Ipsy package. Yeah, so I'm gonna go in with her, and then I'm gonna just sweep some product or pat some product onto the brush, tap a little bit off, and then I'm gonna go straight onto my lid with the product. And I like to focus on the corner because I'm almost am making like a wing effect with shadow, and then I pat more towards right the middle. And so I do this kind of like a patting motion. Honestly, I feel like the key to having that really pretty soft glam look is getting like an essential brown shadow that like looks very, very well on your complexion. There's certain shades I've seen other ladies be able to wear based on the hues in their skin, and it looks so pretty. So just try and focus on like what looks best on your eye. The one that I recommend, like this one that I use, may not look good on you, but don't be discouraged. I would just keep trying out different shadows until you get the one that like best suits your complexion, because you're essentially looking for something that's like a rich brown that kind of gives also that feel of the IG, the famous like IG baddie, like brown smoky type look as well. I use this for that as well. So yeah, so I'm just like still just sweeping the product on, right? And then I'm bringing it down just on the tail, not towards the center. Boom. And that's it. So this is Milk Hydro Grip Primer, and I love this stuff. I like to take it down my T-zone. And I do a smoothing motion. You can pat as well. But I'm gonna do smoothing. Okay, so in regards to foundation, I always get a bunch of questions about which foundations I wear. I'm gonna be real with you. Since the pandemic, I really do not use foundation like that. Like very, very special occasions, I'll pick up some. I actually bought some recently. I don't even know where I put it because I've not used it. I think, oh, yeah. So I bought the Too Faced one. As you see, I haven't even opened it. So maybe I'll open it with you guys and see how that looks on another time. I'm not going to do it today because I would be being disingenuous, and I don't want to be dishonest about what I actually do as my my routine. So we're going to stick with the stuff that I actually use. So I love, 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 love the Fenty Easy Drop Blurring Skin Tint. This is an essential for me. I wear it on minimal makeup days, on maximum makeup days. Like, it just never fails me. So I wear the shade 20, and I'm just gonna go on the cheeks, and I like to go under my eyes with it, or not under my eyes, but I like to start under my eyes. I don't really apply product directly to my under eye unless it's what's that stuff called? Concealer. All right, take a wet beauty blender and go in and start blending out the product. Yeah, there's not much to be said about this. It's pretty self-explanatory. Just bounce a beauty blender on your face. For this particular product, you do not need to use a foundation brush. And I like for it to kind of like melt into my skin. That's why I like my base to look very much seamless. So I find that nothing gives that effect quite like a beauty blender. Sorry, not sorry. I'm gonna add a little bit to my forehead, and I'm going around the face. So yeah, so I would say that's the difference for me, is that like if I use a foundation brush, it's like foundation brushes have their value, absolutely, but I feel like beauty blender still is still that girl in regards to makeup products that just don't fail. Okay, so Fenty's on. Fenty Skin is on. Skin Tint is on. Now we're gonna jump into concealer. And like I said, I'm gonna try and keep this, or like I keep on reading myself, but self-explanatory at this point. I am using drugstore products, so I'll be using these two. So this is the e.l.f. 16-Hour Camo Concealer. I wear the shade Deep Olive. And then I'm also going to be using the Morphe. This is the Morphe Filter Effect. And I'll be using the shade Tan 22. So first what I'm going to do, I'm going to put this on. And both of these are like tapped out. I have my new bottles on the side, but I won't be using those ones quite yet. So we're just going to use what's left of these ones. So I like to do a dot under the chin. Dots on either side. And so dots on either side. And then dots near the center of the eye. Now near the corners. Okay. And then I'm gonna go in with just like a little bit more up on top. And it doesn't have to be perfect. You're just mainly just looking to emphasize those center parts. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I feel like an essential beginner tip, especially when it comes to under eye and placing a concealer, is less is more. You'd rather have put on just enough than way too much concealer and have way too much product to worry about blending out. I feel like that's extremely frustrating, and something that like the more that you do your face, you can like build up on. You do not have to start with using a bunch of product and then having to worry about like what to do with the excess. So that would be my beginner tip. For those who already have really good practice with it, then like you're more than welcome to go ahead and start like layering up, and you already know how to do it. But I'd say that's something that I don't feel like people distinguish a difference with a lot, because you have like a lot of ladies who have a lot of separation and like obvious lines of like where they place concealer versus where the rest of their makeup is, you know, like in this you could just tell it's like they put concealer here, blush here, contour here. Okay, there's the highlight line. And so I feel like when you start with using less product and you build, it's easier to pull off a more seamless makeup look and a filter-like finish than it is when you're dealing with a lot of product at once and still trying to figure out what your comfort level is or what your style is with your makeup. So I'm letting it dry down, and I like to use the Rare Beauty. I use the Rare Beauty in Love, and I like to just put a dot here and a dot here on my cheeks, and that's kind of like once I'm blending out my concealer. So right now I'm just letting it dry down a little bit more, and then I'll blend that out with you guys. And I'm looking for my concealer brush that I just had in my hand. Oh, okay. But yeah, so now all I'm gonna do is go on my skin. So I'm gonna first start down here. And I feel like the best way to think about like, or the best method that I like to think of when doing my concealer, blending in my concealer with the brush, is almost like a little triangle. So like you're literally, it's like, see, that's it. So just stay within those parameters. Do not drag the product down to your eyes. If you're a high cheekbone girl, especially a fuller face girl, all that, and you're trying to create those lines on your face with the highlight contour, do not drag it down. Placing product high is the way to go. Do not bring it down onto your face. You do not need to do that. So yeah, so there's the making of my little triangles. You can already see, so it's gonna go from here, see, And then on the other side, I do the same thing. And I'm patting again, not swiping. If I need extra product, you'll just see like how like I'm patting onto a different area. And then as you pat, your brush is picking up the product and it's taking it with it, right? So it's like this type of motion. So you don't need to reapply again. This is why I would say less is more, because there's product on the brush that you can easily still blend out. Like I literally have not went back in, and I am able to pat out all under my under eye. Okay, so directly after going in with the brush, to take away the lines before you set, because once you set with powder, like you can change it a little bit, but I'm gonna be honest with you, it's not gonna be able to be changed as well as it would if you would have just went ahead and went in while it was still wet before setting with powder. So I'm gonna go in and I'm kind of just like focusing the sponge, and this sponge, mind you, still has my base product on it. So that Fenty's still on here. There's no need to reapply. And I'm going to kind of like buff out the lines with the Beauty Blender. Because the Beauty Blender, the reason why a lot of girls don't like using, or a lot of people don't like using it for their concealers, because it takes away product. But for times like this is exactly why it's useful. So do you see that? Like literally it took away that line of that separation between where I placed concealer and where I placed foundation product. So literally 5 seconds and it's cleaned up. So now I'm going to go in with the Rare Beauty before I set with powder, because you know the rule, if it's wet, you got to set. So I'm going to go in with the Beauty Blender, and then this time I'm going to just like take the sharper edge and I'm working it in to the top. All right.
You can use a brush, I don't.
All right, once the liquid blush is applied, I'm gonna go in with the infamous powder triangle powder puff. Oh my god, tongue twister. I'll have it linked below. But basically now you're gonna go in and you want to set it. I was trying to decide which setting powder I want to use, or press powder I want to use, because I go in and I do the blend set bake method, made famous or viral on TikTok by Painted by Spencer, I believe. It's a makeup artist who did that. But so we blended out the concealer, and now we're going to set the concealer with a pressed powder, right? And then we're gonna bake with the translucent powder. So we're gonna start off with this. So I'm gonna use the Fitme, and this is in 330 Toffee Caramel. And basically I'm gonna apply enough product to the triangle, right? That kind of just covers like the top half of it, and you're gonna want to go in and basically press in to the skin. So we're gonna go and then with what I like to do is take some of this powder as well that's still on there, because you see like it picks up a lot, so you really don't need no more than like one press. And honestly, the less the better when it comes to the under eye. You don't want to have like a lot of buildup of product. So I'm just going through and I'm patting this onto my skin, mainly in all those areas where I applied what earlier. Okay, now we're going to set, or now we're going to do, so blend, set, bake. So now we're going to do bake, because we just did a blending, and then you saw me set with the pressed powder. So now I'm going to go in with my favorite ever. This one is the One Size, and this is in color translucent. It's so good. It's the ultimate setting powder. Yeah, it just gives a really, really pretty under eye, bright under eye is the effect we're going for. So if you were looking for just like I guess just like a normal under eye look, then like you could stop at pressed powder. This is not mandatory to do at all. It's honestly just a preference for how you want your under eye to look. I do like a bright under eye, especially on this type of look that I'm preparing. So again, on the day-to-day, maybe not so much. It's just honestly a preference thing. That's really all makeup is. Makeup's just all about like what you like, what works for you. What works for you may not work for somebody else, you know. So I'm just showing you what works for me and what I get the most compliments on. So anyway, so I'm going to go in. I'm doing the same method that I did with the pressed powder, just putting in enough to cover the top part of the triangle. And I'm just going to press it under my eyes. Okay, so now I like to hop straight into contour as that sets. So I do not use concealer for the center part of my contour, for my bridge and my nose. I do not put concealer there. I like to just use a translucent powder. I feel like it gives the same effect. And for me, since I have a oilier T-zone area, I feel like applying that extra product for me, because there's other oily T-zone girls who have no problem with it. Just like add something extra to have to fuss about later when that part starts to bother me. So I find that this gives the same type of effect with less product use, and that's a win. So yes, I'm just packing some on to my nose bridge. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is close this up, and I am going to take, all right, okay, so that's setting. So now what I'm going to do is take the Bobbi Brown Espresso. This is an N112. So this is a foundation stick that I use for contour. And again, this is for a full face night. On a day-to-day, I typically just bronze, and that's more than enough. I like to set it right above where my cheek is, right? And then I'm going to take the product on a different side, doing the same type of method. Do not drag too far to the center for those round face girls. It doesn't compliment us as well. You can take it on the bottom. I don't contour the bottom of my face with the foundation stick. I only contour my cheeks and this part with the foundation stick. The rest I just kind of leave to bronzer, because I like the finish better that way. And then I'm going to make like a little U on the tip of my nose. And then that's it for cream product. And so, yeah, so that's it for that one. And I'm going to immediately go in and buff it out. So I'm going to stop talking so I can do that. Okay, before I stop talking, I have a Real Techniques brush. This is it's a part of their contour collection. I'm gonna try and find the name for it and put it below. This one I've had forever. I don't even remember. I can't even remember where I got this brush. Yeah, it like there's no label on it, and I don't remember where I got it, so I'm sorry about that. But yeah, so those are for the two that I'll be using. And so now I'm gonna just start blending out, and I'm gonna be quiet. Okay, so I have buffed out all of the cream contour that I've used, and so now I'm gonna like go over it with my favorite contour ever. And honestly, I've heard, okay, so I'll show you first what it is. So it's the Charlotte Tilbury. And it's their airbrush. It's our airbrush bronzer, and I want to say this is a 4. I can't even see the back, but I'm assuming this is the airbrush bronzer in color 4. And I have heard that Juvia's Place has like a pretty comparable dupe, so I will be trying Juvia's Place bronzer very, very soon. Good. Like, come on, let's see if there's anything good, or I'm down to try it. Okay, so basically what you just saw me do in fast motion was go over, and this is the way that I blend it out with the baking, is I go over the baking that I left with the triangle, and I just continue to just like press it in to the skin. Literally, that's it. So I just press it into my skin. Alright, so trust me on this, it's gonna be a little wonky for right now, but we're gonna go in with NARS, and this is the Orgasm X. I love this blush. I've recently found out about the Juvia's Place Volume 1. Love that one as well. So now I'm gonna just like go in and like press on some blush.
And I take my blush high. Again, I don't really put products low into my face, I keep them high. And so I'm gonna just keep this high up.
Alright, before I spray my face, I'm just going to go in with a black eyeliner, and I'm going to do the corner of my eye, kind of like a mini triangle where I'm like pulling it out from the wing area. So it creates like a little smudge, and then I just like go straight into my waterline afterwards. So I'm doing the same thing for the opposite eye. Hey, so my battery died midway through when I was putting on eyeliner, but basically I'm gonna go in with this product. This is the LA Girl Just Blushing. What did I call it? A palette? I meant to say it's a highlighter blush. And so I like to go over the top, like right here on the corner tip of my eye with this product. I love it. Okay, so I'm gonna do the same thing for this side. And I also wanted to comment on something just like as I get ready to spray my face. So I'm gonna use, this is the e.l.f. Stay All Night Microfine Setting Mist. But basically, I've gotten some questions about like what to do in regards to like your eye, just like puffy eyes, or like having eye days where it's like you look a little sleepy, you have a little bag under it. And honestly, I wish I had something like to give, but I think that's probably the reason why I wanted to do my makeup today, because if you can see very closely, I have bags under my eyes. I'm tired. I've had a very long week, so therefore I have bags. I've done all my normal stuff that I usually do for my under eye care, but this week there's no replacement for it but rest. So honestly, when it comes to makeup, in my personal opinion, is that it's like, I don't use it to, I use it as an enhancement, not as a cover up. And I don't think that anything's wrong with using it to play up different parts, or, you know, like in a costumey type of way. But I do feel like there's so much out there in regards to like pressure to look like something else or to be something else, not embracing the way that you look naturally. But I just want to let you know that it's completely normal to have under eye creasing, to have days where you have bags under your eyes to have all those things going on. It's normal, like we're human. And hence why I decided to do my makeup tutorial on a day where if I was being super vain, I wouldn't do it, you know. But this is a NYX lip pencil, and I'm using the shade Espresso. And yeah, I'm just gonna outline eyelids. But yeah, I just feel like that's not talked about enough, like beauty community wise, is like being able to show up on the days where things aren't necessarily the best, where, you know, like the beat wasn't all that you wanted it to be, all that stuff, you know. Just very much not really trying to give you this idea that I'm perfect or think I'm perfect, because I don't. And today is one of those days where it's just like my eyes are hating on me. My under eyes just want to be the main character, but on we go. Whatever, that's life. Okay, so next I'm going to follow it up with Morphe. This is Freebird. And yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and use this gloss. And a little bit more. Okay, and then so now what I'm going to do is take Black Radiance, and I could take the Charlotte Tilbury instead, but I'm trying to again incorporate as many like drugstore as I can to show you that you can do it on a budget too. And even for those who aren't necessarily on a budget but just like really enjoy drugstore brands, like yeah, there's a whole bunch of gems there. So I'm going to take because I can't find my eyeliner brush, but typically I like to take just enough product to be able to pat under my eye. And I can't really talk during this part because I have to concentrate. It's honestly terrifying because like you put too much, it will mess up your under eye. And mind you, we're dealing with your bronzer contour shade, so like you really don't want to set it nowhere else but underneath. So yeah, so I'm going under eye with it. All right, and that's on that. So now I'm gonna go in with my favorite drugstore mascara ever. It's the Essence Lash Princess. Love this mascara, never fails me, hits every time, 10 out of 10. I use it for both my top and bottom lash. I don't use the lash primer. And then yeah, I just have to focus. I can't really talk while I do my mascara. I'll get it everywhere. Okay, so I was gonna put it on the top, and then let me take out my lashes. So I have a lot that I wear. I'm going to be wearing the fluffy Pooplunches cat lashes, cat eyelashes. This one's in the fluffy. Again, it's linked on my Amazon storefront, so I'm thinking these lashes are gonna be the one. Yeah. Does anybody else do this? Do you try your lash before you put it on? I love to see what it looks like. Okay, so I might stack these with the Exotica Cavali lashes. So I'm thinking I'm going to stack them with the Exotica Cavali lashes. Again, these are my Amazon. These are in my Amazon storefront, but the brand's called Pooplunches. The name, Lord. But the lashes hit. Like, I've gotten so many different pairs from them and love it. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna stack these with these ones off camera and come back when I'm done. Okay, so lashes are on. Again, these are the stacked ones, and this is just for a more dramatic look because I'm going for my whole like done up date night makeup that I usually wear. So definitely love to wear like fuller lash, stack lash for just like a really sexy eye. So now I'm gonna follow it up with that same mascara on my bottom lash line, and if I talk during this, I'll get it everywhere. So I'm gonna just like go ahead and get going on it. I don't really do anything special with my mascara under my eye. I kind of just like to do 2 coats, and I like to stick to just leaving it directly on the lash. There's some tricks that I've seen that do work. If you don't really have that much bottom lashes to work with, you can make like little dots on your lash line area, and it gives her like a fuller bottom lash look. But yeah, also, am I the only one who wears contacts and also like touches their face all the time, does their makeup enough to where it's like this shouldn't still be happening, and get like watery eyes? My eyes water so bad. You would think they don't get touched at all. They're so sensitive. When I used to get lash extensions, I was so embarrassed. I have to take like allergy medicine to where they wouldn't water at all, because they'd have to constantly replace, you know, like the under eye pad part, because I'd be in there just like crying for no reason. My tear ducts just going crazy. Super annoying. So annoying. And they were just doing that now, putting on these lashes, so that's not okay. Okay, and then now I'm just going in again for that second coat, because I like bottom mascara. Okay, what else? I have nose jewelry that I wear, right? I do not go without cleaning it up after applying makeup. I love for it to shine, so I just stick it out ever so slightly with a little cotton swab with alcohol on it, and I just like rub off the jewelry, because I want for it to shine still. I don't want it to be all dull. So yeah, so that's like the final step that I do on my makeup, but this is me done. I'm done. This is my go-to winter date night makeup look, and I'll do some close-ups and an actual intro now that I'm done with it. But I hope this was helpful for you to be able to see what I do.